हम माननीय पूर्व मंत्री श्री सुरेश प्रभु का हार्दिक अभिनंदन और स्वागत करते हैं। वे वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग के थ्रू हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं। अ वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग टू यू सर। ही इज ऑल्सो चेयरमैन ऑफ ICFA.
Thank you all for joining in this program, especially coming to Delhi and attending this one of the most important issue that we'll be addressing in this conference. I must congratulate my colleagues with the World Agriculture Forum in the ICFA for organizing this program at a very short notice. This event was not going to take place in Delhi till recently, and then it was decided that we should bring it to Delhi, and the right place, of course. So the venue has changed, but the menu has not changed. The agenda will remain the same. And I'm sure that when I mention menu, all of you will enjoy the platter of food that will be offered in Delhi, and the Delhi hospitality is unmatchable. So I'm sure you will continue to enjoy my colleagues' hospitality. I'm sorry I cannot physically join in this program. So my body is not there, but my mind and my soul is already with you all. So as we know, the grains are very important for nutrition, for healthy bodies of humans. But not just humans eat the grains. It's also the animals eat the grains. And the humans eat the animals. And what we get from the animal meat is also necessary for human body. So therefore grains have to be grown for both humans as well as animals, for their food security, for the nutritional security, for providing energy, and all of that. But this challenge is those who grow the grains, those who grow the food are the farmers of the world, and particularly the developing countries, they face a double whammy. If they produce more, the prices fall. If you don't allow them to export. And if they don't produce more, they will obviously, their own income will be affected, the farmer's income. But when they produce more, the prices fall and their income is affected again. So how to balance this is one of the big issue. And if you don't produce grains, and mind you, my friends, most of the grains that are now coming to the global market, at least good part of that is also produced in developing countries. In Asia, India, Thailand, other places export rice. Some other countries export more wheat. But rice, wheat, different kinds of food crops are all grown also in developing countries which come to the global market. So farmers of the developing countries, if they are not protected well, it will also affect the global food security. Now the big challenge that we have is the climate change. Climate change is going to pose existential threat to agriculture. 11,000 after human beings came on the planet for the last 11,000 years, the farmers of the world are doing agriculture. First, the agriculture was meant to be producing enough to feed the family. Then the industrial level agriculture started. That meant we produced large number of food. The fertilizers came, insecticides came, pesticides came, fungicides came into the marketplace. That helped us to grow even more. Some countries in the West, particularly in the North America, for some time they used to give subsidy to the farmer not to produce more, so that the prices should not fall. Unlike that, in developing countries, we were denied from giving subsidies, saying that it violates the WTO terms. But actually speaking, in the developing countries, the subsidies are negative subsidies. That means farmer subsidizes the end price that a consumer gets. And therefore, we must be conscious of the fact that developing countries have a big role to play into the food security of the world. And the climate change, as I said, is going to pose existential threat because when the temperature will rise beyond 2 degrees centigrade, post what was the benchmark was of industrial evolution, will not be able to sustain some of these food crops like wheat, for example, particularly in the southern hemisphere. And therefore, we have to find out a way of doing this. How to sustain agriculture in the growing threat of climate change. Another big threat for food and the grains is going to come from water. Now, the water scarcity is one part, but too much of water is also another part. Half of Pakistan, which is our immediate neighbor, was under water for weeks, only 2-3 years ago, because of floods. The entire agricultural land was washed away. Another threat to water is because the seawater, which is rising as a result of climate change, good part of that will come inland into the agricultural lands. The salinity will increase, will not be able to produce crops there. So just imagine the threat of climate change, which is real. Besides, it is going to affect the livelihood of few hundreds of millions of farmers in the developing countries. So livelihood will be affected, food security will be under threat, and all of that is going to pose big challenge. And as I said in the beginning, animals, poor animals, they would also need to be fed with good crops. And therefore, we have to think about all these issues when we discuss this. Another important issue that has been sought as a solution is to make biofuels. So that if you generate electricity from biofuels, you generate not electricity but fuel, which can actually be even used for mobility. In that case, it's a win-win situation because you are not burning fossil fuels, you are doing biofuels, so no greenhouse gas emission, that's an argument. But my friend, even for doing biofuel, you have to divert some part of agricultural land, which otherwise could have been used for growing the grains that were necessary for both animals as well as humans. And also more water will go into that, so we are actually going to burn water. And that's the challenge we have to also keep in mind. So this GrainsWorld Congress which is taking place in Delhi, I am sure the kind of people that are attending this and will provide all the support. My colleagues, my friends in the cabinet will be addressing this conference and they will also be taking your message back to the government. I have been in the government for long. I had 10 different cabinet positions, 26 in the parliament, so I know exactly what needs to be done and I will take it to the right people, the message that will actually create at the end of this conference. But I am very concerned that today we are actually at a very big, challenging, I would call it as a catastrophic point. 11,000 years after we started doing agriculture, the agriculture today is facing the crisis, which is unprecedented. And probably, I hope, we'll be able to address. Of course, I didn't mention soil, which again is a problem because soil, because the excessive use of fertilizers, I would not say excessive, but injudicious use of fertilizer, not following the NPK formula. We don't need only nitrogenous fertilizers. We need potash, we need phosphate, we need all of that in proper proportion. I was also the fertilizer minister. So we should try to use all that judiciously, use water properly, because too much of water in land is also not good. It can cause more problem for the soil. And therefore farmers toil, and in the process we are seeing that toil and soil is not helping the farmers to benefit. So my friends, while we discuss all aspects of grains, I am sure while you discuss grain, also mind should be trained to make sure that farmers and their contribution to this whole process is not lost sight of. We need public policy. as to how agriculture will sustain. And for that, we need a global collaboration. That's why World Agriculture Forum, that is based in Netherlands, which has members coming from almost all parts of the world. I am fortunate to be a part of that global board. We will deliberate on the issues and make sure that global policy also is properly aligned to these issues. But at the same time, we need national policy. We need state policies. And therefore, this ICFA and Mr. Bakshi is sitting there. I can see him, a handsome man who is going to tell you about how ICFA is also trying to create every district of India a forum of all stakeholders, scientists, agriculture scientists, farmers, industry, technology providers, policy makers, local representatives, members of parliament or members of legislative assemblies, all of them will be part of this process. And I will assure you that your message that will generate after the deliberations in this GrainsWorld Congress will not be lost sight of. We'll take it to the logical conclusion. So I'm sure your presence in Delhi will enhance this ability of the global community as well as local communities to address this big challenge that we're facing today. I wish I could be there in person, but thanks for giving me this opportunity. Let me welcome you all to New Delhi. Let me welcome you all who have come from different parts of the world to my great country, India. And I'm sure I can tell you, those who are coming in for the first time, Delhi is not India. You have to go to different locations to find out. We have major grain producing states which are neighboring Delhi, whether it's Punjab or Haryana or Western UP, or in southern India, whether it is Andhra Pradesh and others, who have done a great job in terms of providing food security to the country. There was a time in mid-60s, India used to be the major importer of food grains. And today we have become the net exporter of food grains and agriculture products. I made India's first agriculture export policy as a commerce industry minister. And therefore I can tell you this, that public response has to be proper, public policy response has to be robust, and all of that can happen thanks to this Congress that is taking place in New Delhi. And I really welcome you as your host without being there, of course. So I am not a host, but I am a guest. But I'm sure my colleagues will take good care of you, and I'm sure we'll take your message to the logical conclusion and make sure that we make world a secure place, a healthier place. A people benefit will be more than the benefit going to one section of the society, and that's what we'll achieve together. Welcome to Grains World Conference and Expo 2024. Thank you very much, my dear friends. I am sorry to have missed meeting you in person, but I'm sure because we have the same objective, same goals, we'll all get opportunities to work together, meet together, and also achieve our goals together. Both, thank you very much. All the best to you. God bless you all. Wishing you a happy New Year, which is just around the corner. I wish the New Year brings in new, better, and good news for all of us. Thank you very much. Thank you, my dear friends.
Thank you, sir. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you with us through video conferencing. That was Chairman ICFA, Mr. Suresh Prabhu. He's also been a cabinet minister and has had a very, very profound opinion in any policy that India follows. So once again, we're very thankful to the former minister, sir, and thank you again, sir.